What's going on, you guys? It is your boy, the American Motorsports fan, Eric Ringle here, and we are back with another reaction video, and this is one everybody's been asking me to react to on the video. They've been wanting me to react to Sidecar Racing, which is motorcycles with then the sidecar on top of it. Now, a lot of people have told me that these sidecars do race at the Isle of Man, and they race in a lot of other places, and I've seen it from time to time on, you know, ESPN late nights, and, you know, occasionally I run across the video, you know, online on YouTube. But I thought, why not react to this video? Driver61 has put out a really good video talking about the insane world of sidecar racing. So we're going to react to this video and react to and see how crazy sidecar racing actually is. So let's get on to this video right now.
Racing, and it's absolutely crazy. They are three-wheeled bikes that can hit 160 miles an hour.
Jesus! First shot is the guy hitting the wall and just going all over the place. Good Lord, all right.
Absolutely crazy. They are three-wheeled bikes that can hit 160 miles an hour on the residential streets of the Isle of Man. But what's incredible is that it takes two people to drive this thing. One on the controls and one manipulating the balance of the bike. And control.
Wow. That is insanely fast for a motorcycle, like, and especially a sidecar. Like, that's insane. I gotta hold on.
One on the man. But what's incredible is that it takes two people to drive this thing. One on the controls and one manipulating the balance of the bike. And controlling this thing at that sort of speed with walls, curbs and blind crests.
That's insane. So they're moving all around the bike as you're taking certain turns and trying, like, oh my God, like, wow.
Must be terrifying, but not as much as being the passenger whilst doing that. So today, let me explain the engineering and the insane driving skill behind sidecar racing.
Like, look at that. Like, where he was, like, that's ridiculous. Like, he was just in the, like, in the side of that, like, oh my God, I can only imagine how much more crazy this is gonna get.
Miles per hour. They run standard 600cc 4-stroke bike engines and racing slicks. The speed they travel at is honestly astonishing. Now, sidecar racing.
Jesus, that's fast. Like, just that noise alone was, like, ridiculously fast. Like, good Lord.
Is huge, with many different classes and events, from circuits like Brands Hatch and Alton Park to the scariest of them all, the Isle of Man Snaefell Mountain Course. The Isle of Man, statistically the most dangerous races in the world, and by quite some margin. The number of horrific crashes is endless, but despite this, hundreds of racers across bikes, superbikes and sidecars rock up every year to take it on. And whilst I do...
That's incredible. Like, just to know how many people run that course over the Isle of Man TT, like, that's just insane to know. Like, just how many people rock up to that race.
Moan about organisers making tracks too sterile at the moment with massive runoffs. The risks at the TT are far higher than I personally would take. One misjudgment or one mechanical failure could send you off a hill or into a brick wall. The track weaves through tight island roads for 38 miles with tight sections and more open, weaving sections where riders are flat out for minutes at a time. These sidecars manage an average of 120 miles per hour around
120 miles an hour? Jesus. Like, we've watched video where Peter Hickman was going, what, 130 some odd miles an hour? Like, just to know that they're, you know, only 15 miles off of that with two guys on a bike, one mainly driving it and the other guy in a sidecar, that's, like, That is almost unbelievable to me.
And these 200 turns. And to put this into perspective, the top class of superbikes, which are far, far lighter, manage this with a 130 miles per hour average. The TT is a time trial event that is held over a fortnight. 1 week of practice, and you're going to need every minute of that, and a week of races. They set the riders off 10 seconds apart. So whilst you are racing the clock, if you're quick, you
only 10 seconds apart? Wow. That is such a small gap. Like, you know, you have an accident, 10 seconds is almost nothing. Like, the people behind may just not have time to react.
Have to put in some ballsy overtakes too. If you want to see loads of quality footage on this, check out the Three-Wheeling channel linked below. And thank you to them for supplying a lot of the footage for this video. And this track would be terrifying in a car, with 4 wheels and a roll cage, 1 driver, and the ability to take left and right-handed corners at the same sort of speed. But sidecars...
Like, when they talk about the Isle of Man, like, you always just hear about motorcycles and sidecars, and I didn't know that there was, like, that they actually had, like, rallying cars and, like, supercars race on that track. I may have to check that out. Like, that seems pretty cool to, like, see a supercar race on that kind of a track.
Have none of these things. But before we get into it, some lingo. The sidecar itself is called an outfit. The person on the right is called the driver, and the madman who's hanging off the side is called a passenger. Anyway.
Simple enough. Why can't we just call the guy that's the passenger a madman? Like, that just him hanging off and, like, moving around during the 120 miles an hour, that's... Oh.
From an engineering perspective, what makes these sidecars unusual is that they aren't symmetrical. They have 2 wheels in line and then 1 on the side. Driving on track, whether it's in Caterhams or Formula 1 cars, you get a feel for the car's cornering ability and then apply this to both left-handers and right-handers. However, these sidecars actually take right-handers far quicker than left-handers. And this is down to, in right-handers, the outfit leaning on that sidecar wheel.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. You know, you turning right and the sidecar's on the left, you turning right seems to me that the left side of that bike is going to come up because there's no weight holding it down. So, okay, so that makes sense.
In left-handers, the whole thing wants to tip over. Years ago, these outfits used to look more like a bike and sidecar. However, now...
What the hell is that? That looks even scarier. Jesus Christ. I mean, like, safety has come a long way, but, like, just seeing this right here, this still shot is absolutely frightening. Absolutely frightening.
Now, they are bespoke racing units with advanced aero and much improved performance. They are powered by a single rear wheel, the one behind the driver, and are steered by the front wheel through some very small handlebars. They can also outbrake superbikes down to the huge slick tyres and the enormous car brakes that stop all 3 wheels. And look here, they use flat racing tyres.
I was going to say, the brakes look gigantic, the slicks look gigantic, like they look like that, the kind of tire you would run on a street car, not on a motorcycle, superbike, anything like that.
Other than the rounded bike tires, so they have a much larger contact patch, so more grip in the corners and especially on the brakes. Now to the question I'm sure you're all wondering, what about the dude on the back? Well,
duh. That was my, like, because I've never seen it, but, like, I want to know what, like, this guy does.
Well, they are called passengers, or more casually, monkeys. And that kind of makes sense. These guys have to be incredibly fit just to hold on at these speeds and G-forces. Their role is to maintain the balance of the outfit. Without them, the sidecar just wouldn't work. It would be minutes a lap slower around the TT course. So they cling on, staying out of the airflow on the straights and hang off either side around the corners, essentially making up for the uneven handling of the sidecar.
So basically they just, so like in some cars you have like a set weight distribution. like in Formula One, you have, you know, a set where, you know, where you want your weight to be distributed. Whereas in this, that weight is always constantly moving to be distributed in the right ways to gain the most speed and the most time. That makes a lot
Right-handers,
of
they
sense.
climb over the top of the driver to keep the weight on the inside tyres. Then on left-handers, they hand precariously over the side of the bike. And this is the bit that looks the most sketchy. They very often skid their backs along the surface of the track and can even get knocked off if the driver gets it wrong.
Jeez. Like, how does that not break people's backs? Like, how did that not break that guy's back?
Along the straights, they duck out of the airflow, then pop up in the braking zones to add as much drag as possible. Then, as the driver turns into the corner, they have to quickly but carefully get in position so that the bike sticks. So in a car, you trail brake into the corner, meaning you gently release the brake pressure as you enter. This is all to transfer the weight of the car as gently as possible. On a sidecar, the driver is still doing this, but with the added component of another person moving around.
That's a crazy sight right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of these sidecar bikes.
And it must be so tough to coordinate these two things perfectly. Some passengers even count or feel the bumps. Also, they don't need to pop their head up to see when the next corner is coming, which around a 38-mile lap is mighty impressive. As you can imagine, it takes enormous trust from both parties. The driver has to trust that the passenger will be in place to give him grip when he needs it. Then the passenger has to trust.
Like, that's got to take so much practice to get that down on a constant basis and to be able to, you know, just be able to distribute the weight in the right ways and to be able to like, it just, like, you have got to have, like, you know, marriage is trust, but like this is another form of trust. I could never imagine, like, it's oh my god, like it makes me speechless.
Trust the driver that he's got his estimations right. The passengers hold on to a few specific handles. The main one is in the center of the bike. The riders hold this through the highest G sections, the braking zones, where they have to be up pretty high on the bike whilst the driver is on the anchors. Then there are several smaller holes around the sidecar for the cornering sections.
Okay, so they serve as to help with braking in corners. Okay.
As well as a specially shaped platform with places for the passenger to jam their foot in for grip. It really is like rock climbing at 150 miles per hour. Now, what I find mad is also what the driver has to do. It's not like a car where the grip is more predictable and the balance of the car is pretty steady. The most a car changes is when the tyres wear or the fuel burns off, both of which happen slowly and predictably. But on these bikes, if the passenger isn't in the right place at exactly the right time, the bike won't have the grips you expect it to. There really are two people steering these sidecars. But the thing...
That's impressive. So basically 2 people are driving that bike, and they've got to work in such tandem that they get the most speed and the least amount of time. Like, they've just got, like, it's controlled chaos. I would almost use that as the probably just, you know, and this is only the first time I've ever really seen sidecars, but like, it almost seems like controlled chaos to me. Being on a bike that goes over 120 miles an hour, that you're having, you know, the driver and passenger basically almost having to work as one to be able to guide this sidecar down the track. Like, it's just, that to me is controlled chaos.
The thing I can't get over is the enormous risk that every driver takes on this track. Many of the riders have rituals where they hug their families every time they get on the bike at this track, even in practice. There are too many crashes, many of which are tragic, so you can imagine the nerves when sat at that start line. But as we all know, all motorsport can be dangerous, and we go into it knowing the risks. The skill...
Yep, absolutely. I will say that is the one thing that, like, when you talk to most drivers and riders in motorsports, they know the risks. Like, we think it's crazy. Like, I think it's crazy. But, like, they know the risks. I know that they know the risks. I know how, professional and how, amazing, drivers they are. But, like, they're still human.
Composure and dedication from these riders demands huge respect. One thing I had to find out was, how do you build up to doing this? How do you first learn the ropes in hanging off the side of a sidecar at silly speeds? Well, just like what karting is to single-seaters, miniature sidecars
oh my
is
God.
to sidecars. These are awesome. They are called mini F1 sidecars, and they race.
Okay, that's kind of cool. That's kind of the way that they learn, is not like, Formula One and in most motorsports, you learn driving a go-kart, whereas they have their own version of a go-kart, but it's literally a mini, sidecar. Like, that's amazing.
It's on kart circuits. The racing is brilliant, with some awesome battles and some massive sends. You can really see how the passengers move the way around, getting on the inside of each corner, hanging way off the side of the outfit. You should watch this video where we explain another mad class of motorsport. Thanks very much for watching, and thank you all for 700,000 subscribers.
That's really, really cool that, like, they basically have where you basically learn the ropes in these mini sidecars, and then you graduate to the Isle of Man, and like that is amazing to me. And like I said, and like I've said, running at the Isle of Man, and it takes a different mindset and just a massive set of balls. But like that's really interesting to see, kind of, just this is kind of my introduction into sidecars, and we'll obviously get into more. Obviously right now, as I'm recording this, the Isle of Man TT races are taking place. I think they're in day 7 or day 8. So I'm going to dedicate once everything is all said and done, I'm going to dedicate a whole week to just reacting to all the races from that weekend. But God, like I said, it's a great introduction into the world of sidecar racing. But guys, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys would like me to react to next, or what you guys would like to see me do a video on next. Let me know that in the comment section down below. Guys, as always, please hit that like button, and it helps me out immensely. It helps me out greatly, and it pushes my videos, when you do that, out to more and more motorsports fans. So please hit that like button. And guys, if you are new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. We have got over 500 subscribers, and we got to keep pushing. We got to keep pushing, so you got to hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And guys, for the American Motorsports Fan, I'm Eric Ringel, signing off.